Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Teach Technology Education Among Confident Humans, where we explore a hot technology topic, teach and learn together, and enable each other to become more self-sufficient. Today's topic is creating documents, as requested by Felix Kramer, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. We're going to touch on the pros and cons of using applications from Apple, Microsoft, and Google to create and share documents and figure out what works for different contexts, depending on what our needs are. And as always, I'll make space along the way for your questions and insights. I'd love to hear first from each of you where you're calling in from and one thing you're interested in learning or teaching today. Anton, would you like to go first?
Sure. Well, thank you, Ben. Anton Gross. I'm coming in from San Francisco, and I do spiritual writing, relating phenomenology to quantum physics, and I also have developed a new way of playing Scrabble that I'd like to share with people. So I'm here to learn everything I can from the guy who knows it.
Thanks, Anton. Will you call in the next person?
Oh, I call the next person?
That'd be
Sure.
wonderful.
Whoever wants to, go for it.
How about Lori?
Okay, yeah, I'm unmuted. I'm eager to learn more about Google Docs because I can tell that everybody is starting to switch to that. And I've just always stuck with Microsoft Word and more I'm being asked to work in Google Docs and I haven't really explored that. So I need to know. That
Excellent.
seems to be the way of the future. Huh?
It just might be.
Oh, so let's see. Anybody unmuted? No, you'll have to unmute. Jerry, will you unmute and tell us why you're here?
I will unmute. And very interested too in learning more about spiritual teachings and quantum physics. It's exciting. Thanks, Antoine. Our work is in guiding young people to connect inside themselves with what their passion is, and then match that to a career or a fulfilling experience in the workplace. And I'm interested in just hearing what I might learn from the master Ben, and Google Docs keeps coming up here as well. So happy to join you. And I would invite Ivy to share with us.
Thank you, Jerry, and thank you, Dan. This is my first time in the group. I'm a caregiver, and basically, I like Lori. I stick with Microsoft Word, but there's a lot of Google emails coming my way, and I'm not always sure what to do with it. And I use the documents, Word documents, mostly for organizing myself, keeping doctor's appointments together and medication and addresses and phone numbers and a whole range of healthcare issues. And with that, I will choose John.
Thank you, Ivy. Google it is for me as well. It's been my nemesis from start to finish. So I'll be happy to, for the same reasons almost. You know.
Great. Thanks, John. Thanks, everyone. Well, then perhaps we'll spend more of our time focusing on Google than anything else. I do want to make reference simply to the fact that I prefer to avoid Microsoft Word entirely as much as possible. And I just was working with a client a day or two ago who commented about how busy the Microsoft Word interface is. And I totally agree with them. There are so many controls that are presented in a very small amount of space.
Yeah.
And a lot of the icons are not very well labeled. And yeah, I just, it's a mystery to me that someone chose to cobble all these things together into one place. Certainly it's changed over the years, and it was much worse at one time. But for personal documents, I really have come to prefer Apple's Pages application for documents that I'm creating mostly for myself that I don't necessarily need to share with others. I find the interface a lot more pleasing to the eye, a lot better organized. Um, and that's all I really have to say about that right now. But I think based on the interest in the room, we should jump into Google and take a look at how some of this document experience works. I think Google has improved its document platform, certainly over the years, but it remains relatively simple and relatively effective for most people who are needing to create documents that they want to share and collaborate with others. So I shall pull that up here and share, and we will dive into it together. So I'll start in Drive, and I will make a doc. And a few basics of web-based applications. The entire application exists in the frame of this web page. So, my browser toolbars are outside of the Google Docs application. The web page begins below the toolbar, showing the name of the file and all of the menus that Google provides inside of this application, and then the toolbar for the document and the document page itself. And I can certainly type words here for the purpose of not much. And there are basic layout controls. You can change alignment. You can create bulleted or numbered lists of various types. There are not all of the choices that you might get in a more conventional application like Word or Pages, but there are enough choices for the types of formatting traits that you might add. I think they recently added checklists, so you can get checkboxes, etc. You can change indent levels, and they're also pretty good about showing you the keyboard shortcuts for these various commands. Line spacing also is relatively basic, although you can do custom spacing for individual paragraphs. But I would say, in large part, this application is designed for basic document creation, not a lot of formatting, not a lot of layout and design. The place where it shines is in sharing and in collaboration, real-time collaboration. There were days when people would use Microsoft Word and Dropbox and share a document through Dropbox and have someone else open it, and there became problems with version control, and people trying to open the same document at the same time, and then there became conflicts. Dropbox has gotten better at resolving some of those conflicts for people who are still using that kind of setup. But, you know, Google just makes it really easy for real-time collaboration to take place. So let's see, who would like to collaborate?
I'll collaborate.
Jerry, all right.
Although I don't
Although,
know, I'm not sure I'm the best for that, only because I've avoided Google because I have issues with them, which I'm setting aside at the moment.
right,
And so I've never used Drive and
great,
don't. Okay,
good. So this is a great opportunity for you to join me in this collaboration.
great.
So I just invited you to collaborate with me in this sample document. Hopefully you have an email with a link to the document.
So just came in.
Great. And can you join me?
Open it or
Yeah.
sample it.
Open it.
Okay. I can certainly type words here.
And there you are. So I now see that you are collaborating with me here. And I see where your cursor is. And you see where my cursor is.
Okay.
And you can make changes, and you can add stuff as you wish, or you can, in the top right where it says editing, you can change to suggesting. And that is effectively track changes in the land of Google Docs.
Okay. Suggesting, I didn't see it in the top right. Where is that?
Under the share button.
Where is it?
I see. Share.
Can you
Do I
point it
click
out?
share or is it under the, I see editing? Yep.
Um,
So editing mode is tracking.
Suggesting mode is tracking. I mean, everything really is tracking, because you can go into the version history of a document, and you can see roughly when changes have taken place. And you can look back to what earlier versions of a document looked like.
Nice.
So it was blank, and then I added a numbered list, and then I changed it to a checklist, and then Jerry made a suggestion to change some of the words.
Yeah, just for fun. Yeah.
Exactly.
Where was
you know,
that? Where was the suggestion? Where did that? Where is that?
in the top right corner, underneath the share button on the toolbar, there's this toggle between editing, suggesting, and viewing.
Oh, maybe I've got it covered by. Oh,
Where
I
did
had
you
it covered by our faces. Okay,
Aha.
got it. Okay.
You might have to move us out of the way.
Yeah, okay.
where did you get the version history from?
In the file menu, there's version history.
Oh,
Mhm.
Shift Command Option H is the
okay.
shortcut.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See version history. So I just did that, see version history,
Mhm.
and I don't see the history. I see the most current.
What do you see on the right side?
Okay, wait. I see that there's a blue bar where it says, because that was 12/16. So I
Mhm.
click that and it's blank,
What's blank?
the sheet.
What did you click on?
I clicked on June 16th, 12/11.
Right, that's when I created the document. There was nothing in it yet.
So is there anything in between or no, because you didn't save
Yeah,
it?
click the disclosure triangle next to 12:16 p.m. You'll see this,
Oh,
the
yes.
sub
Great, yeah.
versions within that.
Uh, Sorry, didn't catch that. I, I see the time,
The first entry, June 16th, 12:16 p.m.
right? Click
has a
that.
disclosure triangle to the left of it. A triangle that when you click it, it discloses additional things.
I don't have that triangle showing.
Interesting.
There is a button at the bottom that says show changes, which is clicked.
Okay, I'm seeing that too.
Oh, maybe the triangle for the top June 16th. I do see that.
Yep,
There it is.
there it is.
Nice. Cool.
Great.
And now-
So was there something else?
Nope, I see it now too. It's even updated it to have the word words be crossed out.
Right. Exactly.
Is there a way to remove all the crossouts once you get an edit of the document and you want to keep it as a final?
Yeah, exactly. So if you, all of the suggestions that you make show up on the right side in the margin.
The suggestions themselves? Or
Yeah,
just
the suggestions themselves with opportunity to comment on them and so forth.
I don't know what that means. All
So
I see is the list.
have you come out of the version history?
Yes,
You've left the version history and you're back in the document.
yes.
Okay. So what do you see now?
I see back to just June 16th, the 12/16 and the 12/11.
You're still in the version history. I need you to leave the version history.
And how would I do that?
The back arrow is in the top left corner of the page.
Okay. Okay, cool.
So now you see the document as it is now with
Right.
all suggestions that have been made. And the suggestions that have been made appear in the right margin. There's an option to accept or reject a change. There's an option to add comments on the change, just as well as you can, select any bit of text and add a comment about it, because, certainly might be a little bit nondescript compared to some other words that you might want to use in this space.
I'm not seeing where those comments are. I just see an error that it took out my suggestion and left yours.
You see an error?
Well, the word ideas is now has a line through it.
That's because I just suggested that change.
Okay.
You can see that I suggested that change because in the right margin, there's a notation that I, at 12:20 p.m. Today, suggested replacing ideas with words.
So let me clarify and see if I understand, and this
Yes.
also might help, Jerry. So basically, if you were working on something with Ben and this came to you, and he said, I suggest replacing ideas with words. Apparently in that little thing, I see a plus and a check sign. So if you would hit probably the X, that would accept it. And if you hit the check mark, it would not accept it, or
Other way around.
Other way around. Okay, so the check mark says, yes, I like it. And then that becomes the new version. And if you hit the X, it says, Ben, wasn't that good an idea? And you continue talking about it.
Right.
Exactly.
Perfect.
I'm not seeing a check or an X.
Right
It's
next
really
to his
light.
name.
It's very pale. If you put your cursor over the right side, they'll pop up a little darker.
Jerry, are you seeing this suggested thing in the right margin?
No,
Oh,
Are you seeing a right margin at all?
no, no right margin. I
Can
could
you
click that
scroll over
plus.
to the right?
Yep. Do I click add-ons?
No, that's a menu.
Okay,
Inside the document space,
okay,
you're looking at my screen, right?
correct.
So in my screen, you see this stuff on the right margin that I'm mousing around?
No,
Hmm.
Do you see
Is
my
your-
cursor at all?
Is your Zoom in the way?
no, 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 I have your document on front of Zoom and everybody's on the right side.
Okay, can you switch
Put it
back
on
to
the
Zoom
bottom.
so that you're seeing my screen?
Yeah, okay, hold on. Yes, now I
Okay.
do.
So
So-
you see my mouse cursor,
Yes, moving.
okay, and over here on the right side,
Yes,
you see this stuff in the margin.
yes.
You're not seeing that on your document screen?
On where it says sample document? No.
Jerry, will you share your screen?
Um, you know, I don't like to do that,
Okay,
but I can tell you, oh, I could scroll it and there it is.
right, scrolling, very important.
Yep, thank you.
Okay,
And I see replace ideas with words. Very
yes,
much.
and you can reject that change.
With the X in the
Yes,
check, just like
exactly.
we just discussed. Thank you.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm with you guys. Sorry
Great.
for the slowness.
No worries. Great, how are we doing?
Good.
Good.
Excellent,
Yeah, this is great.
great. So Ivy, you were talking about having to manage a lot of details related to your caretaking.
Correct. In fact, I just had to get up to do something. Sometimes the doorbell's in the phone, so I keep myself muted.
Okay. So like medications and addresses and, you know, emergency contacts and so forth.
Right.
All of those details sound like the kinds of things that you might put in a spreadsheet.
Probably.
Okay. And I would gather that you are in some fashion collaborating with some other individuals who might also need to be aware of some of those details. Is that correct?
Yes, but I'm not really collaborating with any other individuals. I'm using my computer, which is a Mac, to create everything.
Mm-hmm.
But my sister, who is sick, is staying at my house, and I have her computer, which is Windows. That's
Okay.
the collaboration. She doesn't use it very much, but I like to keep everything on her computer if I can. But I
Okay.
don't know how to use Windows, so I create everything on the Mac.
Got it. So there's it's at the very least there might be you're saying that you're looking for enough information about how to load up these documents on her computer
To send them back and forth, to
to
send
send them
to
back
my
and forth.
Mac.
So right, and because it's web-based, there's no need to send things back and forth. Everything is live and synced online.
Okay.
So if I make a spreadsheet just for the sake of curiosity, and you know, so list out for me, Ivy, a few of the bits of information that you need to keep track of for your sister.
Well, let's just say her medication or her doctors. Let's just make doctor names or medications, the doctors, and appointments. phone number.
Say next appointment. Okay.
Phone numbers.
Mm-hmm.
um, well, nowadays they have visual appointments, they have phone appointments and
Mm-hmm.
in-person appointments.
Right.
So it's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm not going to list out all of those here, but
Right.
we've got four useful indicators here. You know, basic spreadsheet manipulation. You can resize a column just by dragging the border between two columns, or you can double click that border
Right.
to resize the column based on its contents. You can lock a row or a column just by dragging this sort of top level border. And now as I could scroll through the rows below, the first row remains in place.
Oh, okay. That's
That
one I didn't know.
You can do the same thing with columns if you have some kind of header column, etc. Once you have, you know, data in these rows, then you can sort the rows alphabetically, for example, or you can add and remove columns or rows from these various menus. And so, you know, in terms of loading this up on your sister's computer, well, you really just need to figure out how to open a web browser on your sister's computer. And once you're there, then you're just going to a website, because that's all this is a website. If you go to Google Drive on your sister's computer, whether you're logging in, so are you logging in as yourself or as your sister on her computer?
I log in as my sister.
You're logging in as your sister. So all you would need to do is go to share in the file menu or in the top right and add your sister's email as a collaborator of this document. Make sure that she gets editing permission, I would imagine, so that you're, even if it's just you doing the editing on her computer, it works. And then let me, just for the sake of curiosity, I'm gonna add you here. And so Ivy, you now have an email from Google and me sharing you on this sample document.
It knows exactly which document it is referring to.
I only shared one document with you.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Ben, could you go back just a dot and show how you chose an Excel sheet instead of the word processing?
Sure. So if I'm in Google Drive, in the new menu, all of the choices are here.
Okay, how
These
do
are
you
all
get
of the normal things that people make new in Google, in
Sure.
this app. If I was in an individual application like Docs, the file menu has new, and there are those choices.
Okay. File menu, new. I see it. Nice.
Mhm.
And okay, cool. How do you get to Google Drive?
I usually just go to my address bar and type DR, and I go to it often enough that it's the most natural thing that starts with DR. But drive.google.com is the full URL.
Hmm.
I
And-
have .google.com. That's how I would get it on my machine, Ben?
Yep. It's a
This-
website.
And do I have to sign in with a Google passwords and so on?
You have to sign in with your Google account, yes.
Do we have one? Do I even have one, Ben?
I don't know if you have a Google account.
Why would I have had one up to now?
I don't know if you have or don't have a Google account.
Interesting. Okay. I know.
Um,
I'll
if-
check with
if-
my other techie.
yes, right. It's possible that you don't. It's possible that you've never created one.
Mhm.
So
Ben,
yeah, that is a prerequisite here.
Ben, back to the spreadsheet for a moment.
Yes,
Uh, it looks awful much like it's going to run like Excel.
it is essentially designed like Excel with
That's
just
what I
not as
thought.
many things as Excel has.
Right, good. It's better than.
I would say it's better. In Excel, it is very difficult to lock rows or columns as headers, as I did earlier.
Right.
That feature is just so deeply hidden, and I find it so frustrating.
Yeah, I like the way you locked those cells in. Like that was really fascinating.
Mhm. So Ivy, you haven't joined me in this document yet. Did you get the email?
Oh, I don't even know how to go out. Do I have to leave?
You don't have to leave the meeting. Just switch to wherever you go to get your email.
I don't know how to do it. Then I'm sorry.
Where is your dock at the bottom of the screen normally?
I think it's at the top.
It's not at the top. It's
Pardon?
either at the bottom or on the left or right.
At the bottom, all I see is, oh, I see it now. I see it now. Okay,
Mhm.
I didn't know I could do that.
Yep. Yeah, so when someone shares a screen on Zoom, generally it takes others into full screen mode in Zoom. You can certainly leave the full screen view, but you can also just go to wherever you have the dock. You go
Okay.
to that edge and then go a little bit further and the dock will appear.
Okay, now I see it in my email, so I'm gonna click on it.
Mhm.
And it's now it says, I see it says the name of the file is caretaking info. And
Correct.
open, so I clicked on open.
Okay,
It says Earthsaver at Gmail has invited you to edit the following spreadsheet.
okay. Can you open the spreadsheet?
Then it says you need access, request access. It says I'm signed in.
Oh, what account are you signed in with?
AALMETAS@gmail.com.
Aha, so I don't know that email address.
Oh,
I sent it to your AOL email,
Okay.
but your Google identity uses a different email address.
well,
So,
I opened it in my AOL.
right, but when you opened the document, you were already signed in to Google with your Gmail address, which doesn't have access to this document yet.
Okay.
So one thing that you could separately do is you could add your AOL address as an alternate address to your Gmail Google account. But for now, you said AALMETAS.
Right, at gmail.com.
Try reloading the page and see if you now have access.
Request access now.
No, just reload the page.
You mean open?
N- ju-
I don't know what you mean when you say reload.
Go back to the email
Okay.
and try opening the document again.
Okay, it's there now.
It's there.
It's there, yes.
Great. Yeah, and there you are.
Okay, so that gives
So
me,
you have full permission to do everything with this document as I did.
okay. Okay.
One thing that I find most annoying about Google Spreadsheets is that every new document by default has 26 columns, A to Z, and 1,000 rows. And I don't work on very many spreadsheets with 1,000 rows. So, I usually start by filling in the basic columns that I want and deleting all of the extraneous columns.
Hmm.
Well, that would
And
make it print out better too, right?
exactly.
Mhm.
And so, maybe there are really only going to be about 20 rows here. So I'll select 21 and I'll go down to the bottom, hold shift, click 1,000, right click and delete all of those extraneous rows. And now I've got this nice little table.
Hmm. That's good. Yeah.
A lot more manageable. Obviously, you can en masse add a lot more rows at the bottom. You can right click or click the menu for an individual column or
How,
row
how do
to,
I get back to your document?
you're in my document already.
Oh, well, I didn't see where you deleted anything because I'm looking at it on my
What are
email.
you, what are you seeing right now?
I see the 4 headings up at the top,
Mhm.
and there's at the bottom it says add, then it says 1,000 more rows at bottom.
Right. I deleted all but 20 rows.
Oh, you deleted all but 20. Okay, I didn't see you do that.
Right. You want me to go back and do that again?
Please.
Sure. Okay, so now there are again 26 columns and 1,000 rows.
Okay, I got you. Go ahead.
So I selected E and I scrolled over and held shift and selected Z to capture all of those 22 columns. And then I right click on the selection and delete columns E to Z.
Okay, following.
Hmm.
Okay, I got you. Let's go.
Mhm.
Ivy, why don't you select row 21?
Done.
And scroll to the very bottom.
Oops, that's right. To the very bottom.
Scroll to the very bottom.
Well, this is gonna take a while. I'm at 300.
You can use the scroll bar on the right side.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, it's 1,000.
Okay, hold the shift key and click 1,000.
Okay.
And then you can either right click or use
Okay, I see it. Delete rows
there you
21
go.
to 1,000.
Exactly.
Got it.
Nicely done.
Oh, okay. Well, that's wow. I like that too.
Nice, nicely done.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you can create this kind of document on your computer. And you can share it with your sister, and you can open it on your sister's computer, and you can make changes to it there.
Now, how does one save it? Is it saved in Google Docs somewhere? Or,
It's saved in your Google Drive. You don't have to do anything to save it manually.
oh, really?
Hmm.
It's always saved within a few seconds of the last change.
Hmm.
Wow.
Hmm.
I like that. So now, if I did have an Excel document, a spreadsheet,
Mhm.
it would not save it in Google Drive. Where would the Excel be saved?
You can drag an Excel document into your Google Drive.
Oh, okay.
And you can tell Google to open it using Google Sheets, and it will convert the document to Google's format.
Wow.
Let me see if
Okay.
I can demonstrate that here.
Is Google Sheets their name for Excel?
Yes. Excel is a Microsoft
Right,
product.
right, thank you.
Let's see, I don't have a whole lot of Excel documents, but I will take my mortgage calculator. In a second here, and I will convert it to an Excel document. And next.
Am I supposed to be seeing your screen now?
No, you're not. I'm doing
Okay.
something in background.
Okay.
And all right, now I have an Excel document. I'm going to, let's see, drag it in from the desktop to my Google Drive. You see it's getting uploaded. It's been uploaded. And here it is. Ah, right. So there's a setting. There's a setting somewhere that documents that you upload that can be converted are converted automatically.
Really?
Do I remember where that setting is? Because it's certainly possible for a Word document or an Excel document to be simply stored as that file type in Google Drive, as you can just as well store any document in Google Drive that you like.
Okay.
And
Then the other question I have is, once I close this document, caretaking info,
yeah,
and I come back the next day and I want to find it,
yep,
where do I go to find it?
right. So because this particular document was shared with you, you will find it initially in the shared with me section on the left.
Where is
When
that?
when you're in the Google Drive main page. So if you go to Google Drive,
I don't know where Google Drive is.
so if you go to your address bar and type drive.google.com,
Okay.
and then you go to shared with me on the left,
Okay, I see that. And
then
there
you
it
will
is.
see all documents that were shared with you, usually in order by share date.
Right, I see
And
it.
then what you can do is, if that was a document you wanted to keep and organize in your drive, you could move it over to my drive. And then it'll be more accessible to you.
Oh, okay.
Just by dragging it?
Just by dragging it. You drag it into any of the folders that you might have in Drive. Same kind of spring-loaded action that you find in the Finder.
Very cool stuff, man.
Yeah,
So if it's Google Drive, it'll have that white cross, but and a green black background. And if it's Excel, it will
it'll
say,
have a white X
okay,
on a green background.
yeah, that's what the caretaking info. But if it's a Excel in my drive, it'll look different.
The Google Sheet is the cross with the green background.
Oh, okay,
The Excel is an X with a green background.
okay.
And And so the setting that I was talking about before, if you click the gear in the top right for settings and choose settings, then there's a setting called convert uploads, uploaded files to Google Docs editor format, meaning that any Word, Excel, or PowerPoint file that you upload will automatically be converted to the equivalent Google application format, rather than retaining the original document in your drive.
Would you say that one more time? So
Yes.
here, uploads.
So if you activate this convert uploads setting, as I have, then when you upload a Word, Excel, or PowerPoint document to your drive, it is instantly converted to the equivalent Google format.
At what point do you do that?
Well,
At any point?
if you consistently want your Microsoft files to be converted to Google formats, then you would do that first.
Okay.
Otherwise, let me just turn this off for a moment. If I drag in this file now, then it is still an Excel document. The green or the X indicates that, and the fact that it still has the Excel file extension on it.
Where are you now?
Yeah, where is that?
Yeah,
It's here, mortgage calculator.
Okay.
not seeing anything.
Are you looking at my screen or your screen?
I'm looking at my screen.
So you need to come back to Zoom and look at my screen for a moment, because I'm not sharing the mortgage calculator with you.
Okay, okay. I'm back at your screen.
Okay, so here's the mortgage calculator. I uploaded this Excel document. You can see in the tooltip, it's an Excel document. And if I say open with Google Sheets, then it takes a moment, and then it has converted it to, no, it has not. It is still an Excel document.
Because you turned it off.
Not
off
because
the
I turned it
automatic.
off. It remained an Excel document because I turned off that setting
Yeah,
when I
that's what I'm
uploaded.
saying. Yeah.
Once I've opened the document in Google Sheets, then there's a second step. And right here in the file menu, save as Google Sheets.
Oh,
Okay.
that's when it happens.
Wow. Okay.
And so now
There
I
it
have
is. Yeah.
this document as a Google Sheet, and I also have it as an Excel document. They are both here in my drive, and it's up to me to decide if I want to keep one or both.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot, which is
It's
why I
good,
like
though.
this, which is why I like this convert
Yeah.
uploads setting, so that I never have to worry about any of these manual conversion processes.
Yeah, that's nice.
What about uploading my book from Scrivener to Google Docs?
So you could upload your Scrivener document and it would not be readable by Google at all, because Scrivener is a proprietary format. But
Okay.
if you converted it to some kind of document file, maybe rich text format is readable, for sure Word is readable, some kind of format that Google is capable of reading, then it can be converted to a Google Doc. And you, John, might be uploading individual chapters in that way.
Even though the document in Scrivener is in Word.
What do you mean it's in Word?
It's in Word. That's what it was originally. And
yeah, but once you put it into Scrivener, it became Scrivener.
oh,
I don't think Word exists inside of Scrivener.
Oh, okay. That was confusing to me.
Yeah.
These logical jumps.
And if I may.
Yes, please.
Uh, talking just about Word documents, and
Sure.
when I am finished writing something, I turn it into a PDF.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I use if someone wants it. If I'm sending it out to someone, I send a PDF because obviously I don't want them to change what I've written, but they want to see it.
Yeah, that's an excellent practice. Um,
Yeah, right.
and
Now, how would that work with the Google Drive? If I would, well, what would I send out to them? Is there some way, something better than PDFs?
well, PDF is, I would say, the preferred document sharing format for documents that you don't need others to edit.
Mhm.
Because not truly still in this world, and I wouldn't hold it against people, some people still just don't have Word or an easy way of reading a Word document that they are familiar with. And PDF still is the more universal format for, especially if you're creating a more laid out document with formatting, with custom typefaces and so forth. If you're trying to make something beautiful, PDF encapsulates all of that in a document without having to share fonts and so forth. But yeah, I would still go with PDF for sharing your documents with people who just need to be able to read them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Jerry.
Yeah, so if one has a Word document on Google Drive, can that be open at the same time as Zoom and still be able to see the full Zoom activity?
Can you describe that again?
Yeah, like you had before, as you were showing us, you had done a screen share.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say no screen share. I just want to open a Google Doc and take notes of what's going on in this meeting
Mm-hmm.
for my use later.
Sure.
Um, I can just do that and format the size of it and keep my Zoom size however I want.
They're two separate windows.
Okay. So
Yeah.
does it consume a lot of bandwidth if I'm doing that while I'm paying attention to Zoom?
Not tremendously. I mean, I would say that Google Docs is pretty minimal in terms of its bandwidth needs.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I don't think you would have any problem doing both of those things at the same time. And, you know, if you wanted them, if you wanted the ease of seeing both windows on the screen at the same time, then you might follow one of my previous tips about doing the tile window views of windows on the screen.
Okay.
So if you mouse over the green window control at the top of the window, you might get a drop down that offers to tile the window on the left or right side of the screen.
That's in the Zoom. I
In
mean,
any window that you're in, but in this case, I happen to be in Zoom, yes.
so at the top, it's on under window. It says new window or tile window to left.
Tile window, exactly.
And once you tile it, uh, can you um, change the width of it however you want?
Yeah, once you tile one window, then you're offered all of the other windows that are on the screen so that you can select the other window that you want tiled next to it. And then once you've tiled two windows, then there's a clear border between them that you can drag to set the width of each.
So if you just have one document that you're from your Google Drive and you've got Zoom, Zoom is already tiled without having to tile it. Basically, you're just Zoom is
No,
what it
Zoom is
is.
not tiled until you choose to tile it.
So if you don't tile, what happens if you just open it and tile that one Word doc?
That it doesn't qualify for tiling. Tiling is an interaction with two windows
Hmm.
at the same time.
So if you try and tile your Word doc while you're working on Zoom, what will happen?
If you go to your Word document and you tile the window on the left side of the screen,
Right?
then macOS asks you what second window you would like to tile next to it.
Okay.
Hmm.
And so
Cool.
you might choose Zoom. And then you've got the two windows next to each other.
And a laptop, a PC would do the same.
No. I mean, a PC might have a similar convention in Windows, but it does not interact the same way as the Mac.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
I'd like to say something. I think it's wonderful that you can keep all of these different concepts your compartmentalize and bring them forward. Because I think the young people of today, their brains are being broadened by doing that. Whereas older people, we were not trained to hold so many different concepts at one time. And
Thank you, Ivy.
it's very difficult.
It's
I
I
appreciate
don't know
that.
if any of you agree with me, but that's the way I feel. I'm amazed.
I have one more thing, and that's just thanks a lot, man. This is really good.
This was so helpful.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
So glad to hear that.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah.
Well, as I think you all know, Mac Mondays is the best way to keep in touch with me. You know, even if you don't have time for the extent of everything I have to share, my opening messages are really valuable for sharing the kinds of issues that you all are connecting with me on, and my announcement of upcoming events.
Well, thank you very much, Ben. And
Yeah.
I will be back to you because, as I said, I wanted to get this this little leaflet or pamphlet or little book on this new way of playing Scrabble. So I'm going to talk to the guy I've been working on this with and see if he's interested in doing it with me. And if so, I'll probably get back to you on getting that thing going and see then how we can distribute it to people all over the place and let them enjoy this game even a little bit more than they are now. So
Sounds
thanks a lot.
great. Thanks, Anton.
Nice.
Take care, my friend.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace,
When
my
Thank you so
brother.
much.
Thanks, Ben.
When are your leave dates again?
I leave Friday and I'm gone 3 weeks.
Okay, thanks.
Have a great trip.
Thanks
Howdy,
again.
family,
much.
y'all.
Enjoy.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.